Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giridhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, read a little something from Chaitanya Bhagavata, Vrndavana Thakur. This is Chaitanya Lila, and this is the Antya-Khanda, Chapter 1, entitled Meeting Again at Sri Advaita Acharya's Home. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paskitadi Satarni. I worship the two brothers, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda, who are the two masters of the devotees and who have mercifully descended to this world. O Lord, who exists eternally in the three phases of time, O Son of Jagannath Mishra, O Lord, accompanied by your servant sons and wives, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Glory, glory to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Goddess Lakshmi's beloved. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, who is most dear to Nityananda. Glory, glory to the King of Vaikuntha, who has now become the King of Sannyasis. Glory, glory to the devotees of the Lord. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the purifier of the fallen. O Lord, please place your feet in my heart. O my brothers, with one mind, please hear this Antya-Khanda, where Lord Chaitanya goes to Jagannath Puri. After accepting sannyas, the king of Vaikuntha stayed overnight in Kantaka Nagara. After accepting sannyas, the Lord ordered Mukunda to sing a kirtan, saying, "Chant, chant." And the Lord began to dance. In the four directions, the Lord's servants sang. The Lord sighed, laughed, perspired, trembled, and cried out. The hairs on his body stood erect. I do not know all the limitless symptoms of ecstasy he manifested. He roared like millions of lions, and seeing him fall to the ground in ecstasy, everyone became afraid. Throwing somewhere his danda and kamandalu, the king of Vaikuntha became mad with love for a person who was actually himself. The Lord danced and danced, embracing his sannyas guru. He became very happy. In the Lord's merciful embrace, Keshava Bharati attained ecstatic love for Lord Krishna. Overcome with ecstasy, Keshava Bharati threw his danda and kamadalu far away, calling out, Hari, Hari. Saintly Keshava Bharati danced. His external consciousness now far away, Keshava Bharati tasted the nectar of ecstatic love. He rolled on the ground. At the end, clothes no longer even covered his body. Seeing the mercy Lord Chaitanya had given to Keshava Bharati, everyone called out, Hari, again and again. Lord Chaitanya happily danced with his sannyas guru, watching all the Lord's servants happily sang. The great sannyasi Keshava Bharati danced with a person whom even the four Vedas find difficult to see in the trance of meditation. Again and again I bow down before the feet of Keshava Bharati. The master of the limitless universes became his disciple. For the whole night the king of Vaikuntha danced with his sannyas guru. When sunrise came and he returned to external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya approached his sannyas guru and bid him farewell. He said, Entering the forest, I will find Lord Krishna Chandra, the master of my life. His sannyas guru said, I will go with you. In your company, I will happily perform Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya mercifully went with him. The sannyas guru walked first in the forest, and Lord Chaitanya followed behind. Embracing Chandrasekhar Acharya, Lord Chaitanya loudly wept. He said, "Please return home. Tell all the Vaishnavas that I have gone to the forest. Please go home. Do not be unhappy at heart. I will always stay as a prisoner in your heart. You are my father. I am your son. I love you, birth after birth." After speaking these words, Lord Chaitanya departed. Then Chandrasekhar fell unconscious. No one can understand the Lord's inconceivable potency, the potency that keeps the devotees alive, even when they're separated from the Lord. After a moment regaining consciousness, Chandrasekhar hurried to Navadvip. Arriving in Navadvip, Chandrasekhar told everyone, "The Lord is gone to the forest." Hearing these words from Sri Chandrasekhar's mouth, the devotees wept in anguish. Anguished laments came from millions of mouths. I have no power to describe how everyone lamented. Advaita said, "I will not live." Hearing him weep, the dry wood and the rocks cracked into pieces. Simply by hearing this news, Advaita became unconscious and fell to the ground. There was no sign of life in his body. Sachi Devi was motionless, stunned with grief. She stood unmoving like a puppet. The saintly women devoted to their Vaishnav husbands fell, weeping to the ground. Advaita said, "My master has gone far away. What reason have I to stay alive? Today, I'll drown in the Ganga. If the people stop me during the day, I will drown at night." Separated from the Lord, everyone felt like Advaita did. All the devotees' hearts were filled with anxiety. No heart was happy. Every devotee yearned to leave his body. Although every devotee was naturally learned and peaceful, no one could be peaceful now. Every devotee had decided to leave his body. Aware of this, a person speaking from the sky stopped them. From the sky came the words, "O devotees headed by Advaita, do not be unhappy. Each one of you please happily worship Lord Krishna Chandra. In 2 or 4 days the Lord will return. You will all meet him again. No one of you should in his heart decide to leave his body. All of you will enjoy pastimes with the Lord as you did before." Hearing this voice from the sky, in his heart, every devotee abandoned the thought of leaving his body. And taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya's holy names and qualities, the devotee stayed always around Sachi Devi. Meanwhile, always chanting the names of Lord Hari, Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of sannyasis, traveled west. With him were Nityananda, Mukunda, Giridhar, and Keshava Bharati walked in front. Lord Chaitanya walked like a maddened lion. Thousands and millions of weeping people followed behind. In the 4 directions, weeping followers broke the forest. With true mercy, Lord Chaitanya said to them, "Everyone, please return home. Chant Lord Krishna's name. Make Lord Krishna your wealth. Make him your very life. May the nectar that Brahma, Shiva, Sukadeva, and all the great saints yearn to taste always rest in your bodies." Hearing this blessing, everyone loudly wept. As if controlled by another, they all returned to their homes. Then Lord Chaitanya entered the place called Radhadesh. To this day, that place is fortunate and holy because of his visit. Radhadesh is very beautiful to see. It's charming, a great circle of asvata trees in the 4 directions. See how this place was beautiful with many cows. The Lord at once entered it. Calling out, "Hari, Hari," the Lord began to dance. In the 4 directions, his servants made a great sankirtan. The king of Vaikuntha loudly roared. Hearing his roars, every heart in the universe became pure. In this way, Lord Chaitanya sanctified Radhadesh. Whatever path he traveled, he always danced. The Lord said, "I will go to the forest, where the Vrkeshwara deity stays. I will stay in that secluded place." Overcome with love, the Lord spoke these words and then continued walking. Nityananda and the others followed close behind. The Lord's dancing was wonderful. Hearing the Lord's wonderful kirtan, everyone followed him. Even though there had never been Sankirtan in that place, and even though now no one had ever seen weeping in ecstatic love for Lord Krishna, when the people saw Lord Chaitanya, they began to weep very wonderfully. Falling to the ground, they offered Dandavata obeisances. The lowest, most degraded persons asked, "Why is there so much weeping?" By the Lord's mercy, everyone was overcome with ecstatic love. They wept and they rolled on the ground. All the world sang the names of Lord Chaitanya. Only the ghosts and demons would not sing. Please know, anyone who turns his face from the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya is a ghost or a demon. Accompanied by his devotees in this way, the king of Vaikuntha tasted the nectar of dancing. At the day's end, Lord Chaitanya arrived at a fortunate village and stayed at the home of a saintly Brahmin. After accepting his meal, the Lord lay down and went to sleep. Devotees slept around him in the four directions. When perhaps 3 hours of the night remained, Lord Chaitanya left and went far away. Not seeing the Lord when they awakened, the devotees wept. The devotees searched every village and every grassy field, tasting the nectar of ecstatic love. In a grassy field, the king of Vaikuntha loudly wept, calling out, "Krishna, my master, Krishna, my father." The master of all souls wept. Calling out these words, the crest jewel of sannyasis wept. The sound of his weeping traveled for 2 miles. From far away, the devotees heard the Lord's wonderful weeping. Following that sound, they found the loudly weeping Lord. The Lord and the devotees wept. Then Mukunda began to sing a kirtan. Hearing the kirtan, the Lord began to dance. Surrounding him in the four directions, the devotees happily sang. On every path he followed, the Lord danced and danced. In this way, he happily traveled west. When they were 8 miles from Vrkeshwar Tirtha, Lord Chaitanya turned in a new direction. Dancing as he went, the Lord happily turned from the west and again went east. Tasting the nectar of dancing, the Lord went east. Filled with limitless happiness, he loudly laughed. Revealing his thoughts, the Lord happily said, "I'll go to Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath personally ordered me. Hurry to Jagannath Puri," he said. After speaking these words, Lord Chaitanya continued east. The devotees very happily followed him. Only a person who has attained the Lord's mercy can understand the Lord's desires. Why did the Lord not desire to go to Vrkeshwar Tirtha? Only a person who has attained the Lord's mercy has the power to know. I think the Lord's traveling to Vrkeshwar Tirtha was a trick to bless everyone in Radhadesh. Again, traveling to the Ganga, the Lord was overcome with the bliss of ecstatic love. The whole country was empty of devotional service. No one knew anything about kirtan. In no mouth was present the chanting of Lord Krishna's names. Lord Chaitanya said, "Why do I walk in this country? I do not hear the name Krishna come from any mouth. Why do I walk in this country? No longer will I protect my body. I will give up my life." At that time, some boys herding cows came. Amongst them was one very saintly boy. The boy suddenly began to chant the holy names of Lord Hari. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya became very happy. Hearing the words Haribol from the boy's mouth, the Lord happily said, "I did not hear the name of Lord Hari come from any mouth in any of the villages I saw in the past 2 or 3 days. Then I suddenly hear the name of Lord Hari come from this boy's mouth. What is the reason for that? Please explain, and I will listen." Then Lord Chaitanya said, "How far is the Ganga from here?" Everyone said, "It is 3 hours on this path." Then the Lord said, "That is the great glory of the Ganga. She teaches the chanting of Lord Krishna's names. The breezes from the Ganga blow here. That is why I hear songs of Lord Krishna's glory." In this way, the Lord explained her glory. The Lord increased everyone's devotion to the Ganga. Lord Chaitanya said, "Today I will dive not in the Ganga." Saying these words, the Lord continued walking. Lord Chaitanya walked like a maddened lion, and the others were like bumblebees following his feet. Eager to see the Ganga, the Lord quickly walked. The devotees had no power to keep up with him. Accompanied only by the lion that was Lord Nityananda, At sunset, Lord Chaitanya happily came to the Ganga's bank. Accompanied by Nityananda, the Lord dove into the Ganga and chanted Ganga, Ganga, and recited many prayers. Filling himself, the Lord drank the Ganga's water. Again and again he offered prayers and obeisances. The Lord said, "Your splendid transcendental water is ecstatic love personified. Lord Shiva knew all the truth about you. Anyone who once hears your name and attains true devotion to Lord Vishnu, how much greater then is a person who drinks your waters? By the mercy of the name, Krishna appears on the people. By your mercy, the name Krishna appears on people's mouths. There is no other reason for this." A worm, an insect, a bird, a dog, a jackal who lives by your bank becomes very fortunate. A wealthy millionaire who lives in some other place is not their equal. To rescue the fallen souls, you descended to this world. No one is your equal. Hearing Lord Chaitanya's prayers, Goddess Ganga became embarrassed at heart. The Supreme Lord, whose lotus feet are Goddess Ganga's home, had descended to this world and spoken the prayers. Anyone who hears the Lord's prayers glorifying Goddess Ganga will find in his heart love for Sri Chaitanya. Accompanied by Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya passed that night in the home of a saintly devotee. The next day, the other devotees found the Lord. Accompanied by the devotees, the Lord happily proceeded to Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya said, "O noble-hearted Nityananda, please listen. Quickly go to Navadvip. Please rescue Srivas and the other devotees from their sufferings. Please tell them all that I'm going to see Lord Jagannath, who's like a moon shining in Nilachula. I will go to Shantipur. I will wait for them at Advaita's home. Please quickly bring them. Now I will go to Haridas' home in Puliagram." After speaking these words to Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya walked to Puliagram. On Lord Chaitanya's order, powerful Nityananda happily went to Navadvip. Intoxicated by tasting the nectar of ecstatic love, Lord Nityananda roared again and again. Overcome with bliss, he became like a maddened lion. All his pastimes are beyond any order or prohibition. For a moment he stood under a kadamba tree, assumed a charming threefold bending form, and played enchanting melodies on the flute. Seeing many cows, he began to roll about on the ground. Becoming like a calf, he drank the cow's milk. Whatever path he took, he always danced. He was not in external conscious. He was plunged in an ocean of bliss. Sometimes he would sit down by the road and weep. Anyone who heard him felt broken at heart. Sometimes he'd loudly laugh. Sometimes, tying his garments like a turban around his head, he would be clothed only by the four directions. Sometimes, accepting the nature of Lord Anantashev, he would swim like a snake in the Ganga's currents. I've personally seen him gracefully swim like Lord Anantashesh in the Ganga. Lord Yananda's glories are inconceivable and unattainable. In the three worlds there is no second person merciful like him. In this way, swimming and swimming in the Ganga, Lord Nityananda finally emerged at Lord Chaitanya's bathing ghat in Navadvip. Again clothing his body, he went first to Lord Chaitanya's home. He saw that Mother Sachi had been fasting for 12 days. Only by the power of her pure devotion to Lord Krishna did she still breathe. She was overwhelmed with the emotions of Mother Yasoda. From her eyes flowed an unending tears of love. Whomever she saw, she asked, "Are you from Mathura? How are Krishna and Balaram? Please tell me, please tell me." Then she would fall unconscious to the ground. Sometimes Mother Sachi would say, "The flutes and horns sound. Does Akrura return to Vraj?" In this way, Mother Sachi was plunged in an ocean of separation from Lord Krishna. External consciousness was not manifest in her body. Lord Nityananda at once offered Dandabad obeisances at Mother Sachi's feet. Seeing Lord Nityananda, the devotees embraced him and loudly wept, saying, "Son, son." Mother Sachi fainted. The devotees could not understand. They did not know in what direction they were being thrown. Lord Nityananda embraced everyone. Everyone's body he sprinkled with tears of love. To everyone, Lord Nityananda sweetly said, "Quickly come to see the Lord." The Lord went to Advaitacharya's home in Shantipur. "I have come to bring you all there." Separated from Lord Chaitanya, all the devotees were devastated. Hearing Lord Nityananda's words, they again became filled with happiness. Everyone was overcome with bliss. A blissful tumult of Lord Krishna's name suddenly arose. From the day the Lord left to take sannyas, Mother Sachi had fasted. For 12 days she had not eaten. It was only by Lord Chaitanya's power that she remained alive. Very sad at heart by seeing her, Lord Nityananda consoled her with sweet words. He said, "What secret of Lord Krishna do you not already know? What do I know that I can tell anything to you? Please do not keep even a half a sesame seed of grief in your heart. How will even the Vedas personified attain the mercy you've already attained? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom the Vedas always seek, has become your son. He is life of all souls." Placing his hand on his chest, the Lord vowed always to protect and maintain you. Again and again the Lord said to you, "Your activities are the most exalted kind of devotional service. All that I own is yours. You inherit it. The Lord knows what is best for everyone. Surrender to him and be happy. Mother, quickly go and cook for Lord Krishna. Then all the devotees will become happy. Everyone wishes to eat the food you have cooked with your own hand. But if you fast, the Lord himself will fast also. Cook and then offer the food to Lord Krishna. I wish to eat what you have cooked." Hearing Lord Nityananda's words, Mother Sachi forgot about her separation from the Lord. She quickly went to cook. Saintly Mother Sachi first offered the food to Lord Krishna and then placed it before Lord Nityananda. Then she offered the food to all the Vaishnavas. Everyone happily ate. When everyone was completely satisfied, Mother Sachi ended her 12-day fast. Then, accompanied by Lord Nityananda, all the devotees made ready to visit Lord Chaitanya. Everyone in Navadvip had heard the words. The Lord became a sannyasi. Hearing that his wonderful new name was Sri Krishna Chaitanya, everyone called out, "Hari, Hari," and "Glorious, glorious." Hearing that the Lord was in Puliyagram, everyone happily went to see him, chanting Hari, Hari. Young, old, men, women, all happily went to see the Lord. Even they who had been blasphemers also went with the devotees. Hiding his true nature, the Supreme Lord took birth in Navadvip. Unaware of this, we blasphemed him. Now we must go and surrender at his feet. Only then will our offenses be broken into pieces. Speaking words like these, though they happily followed the devotees. I do not know how many people traveled on the path. Countless millions of people came to the ferry ghat. The ferrymen did not know how to carry them all across. Some people made improvised rafts. Some tied great water jugs to their chests. Some floated across on banana tree trunks. How many people could cross? How many people could not cross? In whatever way they could, everyone crossed. Breathing heavily and chanting Lord Chaitanya's name, many pregnant women crossed. The blind and the lame all crossed. By the power of Lord Chaitanya's name, they all saw the way. Thousands and thousands of people piled into one boat. How far did that boat go before it sank? Even so, the passengers did not become unhappy at heart. Loudly chanting Hari, they all swam to the other side. Spiritual bliss took birth in everyone's heart. Everyone swam in a great ocean of bliss. They who did not know how to swim somehow swam anyway. By the power of the Supreme Lord, they crossed without trouble to the other bank. How many people crossed to the other bank? I do not know. In the 4 directions, Hari was the only sound anyone heard. Forgetting hunger, thirst, home, duty, troubles, everyone happily traveled. The sound touching the borders of the universe, everyone loudly chanted Hari. In this way, they arrived at Puliyagram. Hearing this unprecedented tumult of the sound Hari, Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of sannyasis, came outside. What was the unprecedented and wonderful glory and splendor and handsomeness of the Lord like? No one can describe it. He was like millions of moons rising together. With his graceful mouth, again and again, he chanted, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. From him flood of bliss flowed without stop. In the four directions everyone offered Dandavata obeisances. Who fell on whom? No one fell. No one was afraid of brambles on the ground. Filled with bliss, everyone offered Dandavata obeisances. Raising their hands, all the people called out, "Save me, save me!" At this, Lord Chaitanya became very pleased. Countless millions of people had come to that place. They filled the village and all the nearby grassy fields. From many different towns and villages they had come. Anyone who saw the Lord's face no longer wished to return to his home. There were great crowds. Puliagram, as well as all the nearby towns and forests, was filled with people. Seeing Lord Chaitanya's charming face, everyone felt fulfilled within and without. Lord Chaitanya cast his merciful glance on everyone. Then he proceeded to Advaitacharya's home in Shantipur. With great excitement, Advaita gazed at the master of his life. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, he offered Dandavata obeisances. Making a piteous sound, he wept. He would not take his two arms from the Lord's lotus feet. With tears of love, Advaita bathed the Lord's glorious feet. Lifting him with both hands, Lord Chaitanya embraced Advaita. Advaitacharya floated in tears of love for the Lord. Fainting in ecstasy, he fell at the Lord's feet. After some moments, Lord Chaitanya pacified Advaita. Then the Lord sat down. Great bliss arose in Advaita's home. Advaita had a small son named Achyutananda, and an effulgent son at that moment, clothed only by the four directions. The boy was very wise. He knew everything. His power was beyond conception. He was very fortunate and glorious. He was a worthy son of Advaitacharya. His every limb was covered with dust. Laughing and laughing, he came to see Lord Chaitanya's feet. He fell down before the Lord's feet, dust and all. Lord Chaitanya placed the boy on his lap. Lord Chaitanya said, "Achyuta, Advaitacharya is my father. That means that you and I are brothers." Achyutananda replied, "You're the Supreme Lord. You're the friend of all souls. You're everyone's father. That's written in the Vedas." Lord Chaitanya and the devotees smiled at Achyutananda's words. Great wonder took birth in the heart of all. The devotees said, "Children never speak like that. What great soul has taken birth here, I do not know." At that moment, Nityananda and Anantashesh came from Nadia with all the devotees. Seeing the Lord, Srivas and the devotees made a great tumult of Hari. All the devotees offered Dandavata obeisances. Grasping the Lord's graceful feet, they all wept. The Lord embraced everyone. Everyone considered the Lord as dear as life. Making a piteous sound, the devotees wept. Hearing that sound, all the worlds became purified. Filled with the bliss of love for Lord Krishna, the saintly devotees wept. Simply by hearing the sound of their weeping, everyone became free from all material bondage. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, a great spiritual wealth was manifest there. Everyone tasted a spiritual nectar that even Brahma and the demigods find difficult to attain. Seeing the devotees, Lord Chaitanya joyfully began to dance. He tasted the nectar of love for a person who was actually himself. At once the devotees began to sing. Thundering like a cloud, the Lord demanded, "Chant, chant." Grasping Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda danced. Unnoticed, Advaita Acharya touched the dust of the Lord's feet. Tears trembling, hair standing erect, roaring and uproarious laughter came like wonderful waves from the Lord's limbs. How graceful were his steps! How glorious were the emotions of his hands and limbs! How will I describe the sweetness of the nectar love he felt? Joyfully raising his arms, he chanted, "Hari, Hari." Seeing the Lord's nectar dancing and hearing his wonderful words, the devotees were plunged in great bliss. First the Lord disappeared from the devotees. Now the Lord allowed them again to see him. Whose body was not overflowing with bliss? Surrounding the Lord, everyone joyfully danced. Who fell on whose body? Who held whom? Who placed whose feet on his chest? Who embraced whom and wept? Who said what? No one knew. Everyone was wild with the bliss of spiritual love. In this way, the king of Vaikuntha danced with his associates. Wonderful pastimes like this had never before happened on the earth. Haribol, Haribol, oh my brothers, Haribol. No one could hear any sounds but these. What bliss had come to Advaita's home? Only Lord Nityananda, who was 1,000-miled Anantashesha himself, knew the heart of what was happening. One by one, the devotees embraced the Lord. The Lord lovingly embraced all the devotees. Embraced by the king of Vaikuntha, the devotees became wild with bliss. Hari! The devotees roared like lions. They became wilder and wilder. Accompanied by his associates, the king of Vaikuntha danced. The earth trembled under their steps. Now became very wild. Effulgent Nityananda danced with Lord Chaitanya. Advaita joyfully danced. He roared, and everyone touched each other's feet. The bliss was like the bliss of Navadvip. The singing, dancing, and pastimes were all the same. For some moments, manifesting his true nature, Lord Chaitanya sat on the throne of Lord Vishnu. In the four directions, the devotees respectfully folded their hands. Now the Lord had revealed his own nature. He declared, I am Krishna. I am Rama. I am Narayan. I am Matsya. I'm Kurma, Varaha, and Vamana. I'm Buddha, Kalki, and Hamsa. I'm Balaram. I'm Prishnigarbha, Hayagriva, and Shiva. I'm Jagannath, Kapila, and Nishinga. Whether they know it or not, all beings are like bumblebees at my lotus feet. All the Vedas sing my glories. Numberless millions of universes serve me. I appear as time personified before everyone but the devotees. By remembering me, one breaks all calamities into pieces. I rescued Draupadi from embarrassment. I rescued the 5 Pandavas from the house of lack. Killing Vrikashura, I rescued Shiva. I rescued my servant Gajendra. I delivered Prahlad. I protected the Gopas. I churned wonderful nectar. Cheating the demons, I protected the demigods. I killed Kamsa, the enemy of my devotees. I killed the demon Ravana's family. In my left hand I held Govardhan Hill. I subdued the Kaliya snake. In Satya Yuga I preach the path of austerity. In Treta Yuga I descend and teach the path of yajna. In Dwapara Yuga I descend and teach everyone the path of deity worship. Even the Vedas do not know all my incarnations. Now I have come to teach Sankirtan. By beginning the Sankirtan movement, I enjoy pastimes of pure love and devotion. That's why I've come to this Kali Yuga. All the Vedas and Puranas pray that I give them shelter. I am the eternal shelter of my devotees. My devotees are not different from me. My devotees are my father, mother, friend, son, and brother. Although I'm independent and I enjoy pastimes as I like, I'm still under the control of my devotees. You are all my personal associates, birth after birth. When I descend to this world, I take all of you with me. I will not leave you even for a sesame seed worth of time. Please know that is the truth. In this way, the Lord mercifully revealed the truth. Hearing his words, all the devotees wept aloud. Again and again, everyone offered dandavat obeisances. Again and again, they fell, rose, spoke prayers in voices trembling with emotion, and wept. What bliss was in Advaita's home! The same nectar present before in the towns of Nadia was also present there. The devotees' desires were all fulfilled. Their sufferings were all broken to pieces. The Lord knows how to break his devotees' sufferings into pieces. Why do the suffering conditioned souls not worship a master like him? Lord Chaitanya is an ocean of kindness. The Lord does not see others' faults. He thinks only of their virtues. After some moments, the Lord concealed his divine opulences. Returning to external consciousness, he became peaceful. Taking everyone with him, the Lord went to the Ganga to bathe. In many ways, he played in the Ganga's waters. After bathing, he returned with everyone. He watered and circumambulated Tulsi. He circumambulated the temple of Lord Vishnu, bowed down, and taking everyone with him, sat down to eat. In the middle, Lord Chaitanya sat down with Nityananda. In the 4 directions around them, their associates happily sat. The Lord's face blossomed with happiness. Sandalwood paste anointed his every limb. With his devotees around him in the 4 directions, he happily ate. It was as if, accompanied by the Gopas in the midst of the Vrindavan forest, Krishna and Balaram were enjoying pastimes of eating lunch. As he ate, the Lord conversed with everyone. Again and again he joked and he laughed. Who has the power to describe all these pastimes? Only a person who has attained the Lord's mercy can say anything about them. Finishing his meal, the Lord left. Then the devotees ate what he had left on his plate. Even the old men became like children. That's the power of devotion to Lord Vishnu. Saintly devotees who hear all these stories will someday meet Lord Chaitanya. The devotees saw the Lord again. The Lord revealed his divine opulences and then enjoyed Sankirtan. Then the Lord ate lunch with all the Vaishnavas. Anyone who hears these pastimes will attain a great treasure of ecstatic love. The 2 moons of Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Shri Nityananda, my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their feet.